Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Doc and Queenie Facebook Live. Good afternoon, Queenie.
Good afternoon, Doc. What is happening?
I forgot to turn my light on. Please hold.
Okay. Lights do matter. I'm just
Okay, there we go. I don't know if it even really, it's the
my
angle.
gosh, seriously.
I'm sitting in a different spot today.
Wow.
So, how's your Monday going?
My Monday's fantastic. Let's see if we can match. How's that?
There you go. That looks fabulous.
Good. I love it when we match, and red, white, and blue is always a great one for me. So I love that so much. How was your weekend?
It was nice. It rained, so
Yeah.
I got a break. I got a big break. We also celebrated my husband's birthday.
Ah, fun.
So I'll be posting a local place we went to, which was fun.
Nice.
How about your weekend?
It always goes quick, of course. I know that a lot of people had storms, like not just rain type of things, but there were large storms in Kansas City, Midwest area. So we always keep an eye on everybody. So hopefully those of us in the Doc and Queenie community are doing okay. So we are always thinking about everybody. So, but the storms came through. The rain amount was lovely, which is always great. But then, of course, damage. And we had such high winds. I'm in the Overland Park area, and such high winds were just phenomenal. So that's always a very big deal for people when they are, you see the trees kind of bend in half. And I always think, oh my gosh, if this was in the winter when everything was frozen, wouldn't that have been tragic?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, and like we always talk about, we're 10 miles south of you, and you had 75-mile-an-hour winds. We had a few little gusts, but nothing.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think so. It didn't. We were like, what's the big deal?
What a difference, honestly, 10 miles makes. That's always phenomenal.
Oh, it's incredible. It's totally incredible. So, yeah. So I wanted to mention, like, National Day of today is kind of weak, so I'm just going to pass that.
Well, we don't want weak National Day of. That's
we don't like weak. They always have the good ones on Sunday, so hopefully, that'll change next year as everything moves forward, I'm guessing. But
fair. Yeah, fair.
So we were at a local establishment. First, I'm looking for what I saw here. And they, in the bathroom, had all of these signs, which, I kind of laughed at them. And then I thought, what does this say about it? It actually was kind of a thought-provoking where our culture is at in some respects. So I'm going to read you a bunch of signs.
Okay.
So this was next to the sink that said, "Please do not flush the following items down the toilet." So it goes through all of the stuff, and then they added on old phone, bills, goldfish, Band-Aids, cherry bombs, leftover salad, and your hopes and dreams.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
So you're like, wow, okay.
That's an extensive list.
Yes. The next sign was I see this a lot. And I'm not gonna say anything on that part, but it says, "I didn't say it was your fault. I said I was going to blame you."
Oh, wow.
Another sign says, "Attitude is everything. Pick a good one."
Nice. All right.
"I think, therefore I am overqualified."
Ooh, youch. All right. You've got some nasties today.
I do. $5 charge for whining.
Okay. Love that.
And then this is a funny. If you first don't succeed by doing it if you first don't succeed, try doing it the way your wife told you.
Yeah. I can imagine that would be incredibly popular with the gentlemen.
Oh, I'm sure it would be. So those were interesting. They really made me, it stuck out. The whining part, the attitude part, the flushing your hopes and dreams down the toilet. You're like, what in the world is that? Last time I checked, I don't think life was guaranteed to be a cakewalk. We weren't guaranteed to have everything handed to us that we want. Unless I'm missing something.
This must be a common theme. Okay. So a lot of families do swear jars. you say a naughty word, you have to put however much in the swear jar at the end of the whatever time period. That money gets donated to charity, or you buy something for the family, you go to dinner, whatever the deal is. Okay. Same thing when you're doing $5 if you're a whiner. And so that would be an issue. Now, I just this second literally got off a call, and for the Happy Neighborhood Project that many of you on this community with Doc and Queenie have heard of, simply because I love sharing free networking with people. And if you can network for free in about 50 different networking events every single week for free, then why would you not, is always kind of my question. And I love being able to share free with people. We just this second hung up a call that was going to be launching free happiness and positivity workshop. And this is going to be starting on the first Thursday of every single month at noon Central, 2 o'clock Pacific, Central Time, noon Pacific, 2 o'clock Central, and 3 o'clock Eastern. So every single first Thursday is going to be happiness and positivity workshop. And these are going to be hosted, facilitated by coaches, outside coaches, not specifically related to Happy Neighborhood Project, literally to be able to say, we would love to have this, we would love to have that incorporated. And so I think it's going to be a blast. So speaking of happy, we are super excited to welcome Karen and Grace on our call today. So that's always super.
You beat me to it because I'm like trying to, scroll through here and look like
to find out. Yeah. As soon as everybody says, hi, then we get to know who it is. So thank you for that. But a happiness and positivity workshop, I think, is going to be needed by the world. And this is, again, open and free to everyone on the planet. But the coaches will be outside the neighborhood just from a standpoint of bringing new people in, because they wouldn't already know the format of Happy Neighborhood Project. And these would be people brand new to the topic. All of those things that you mentioned, Doc, $5 if you whine, and positivity something else, and negativity is not welcome, and blah, blah, blah. A lot of people are having challenges with that. And I was raised, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Well, and I think when you look at the business community, it is a good picture of what's going on culturally. We have tons and tons of health coaches. That tells me a lot of people are sick. We have tons and tons of coaches, like you were just saying, they work on the mindset. And I see a lot, and I don't know, maybe it's because high noon, Debbie Miller also. I don't know if it's just because I pay attention more to, there's a lot of lady coaches, mindset coaches, and a lot of their deliveries is very much, the wording might be a little different, but it's kind of the same thing of ladies beating themselves up. What's in their head? What's, I'm a failure. I'm a this, I'm a that. And as we've talked about in the past, if you speak it out, our body is designed to take that in, what we hear. Of course, what comes from here comes out here. It recycles itself. And I'm sidetracking. I was going to say, and as a naturopath, they have done tons of research on cancer, and different forms of cancer are actually tied to what's up here. So, but that's to circle back around what you were saying with the Happy Neighborhood Project. That's fantastic that there is a platform that is free, that is going to, address things from a positive, happy neighborhood standpoint.
Doc, are you sitting down?
Yes.
I'm going to incorporate gardening and water into the positivity piece that you just said. I know you're going to love this, so please take notes, Dr. Laura.
Okay. Do I need my seatbelt?
Yes. Yeah, you're going to need your seatbelt.
Okay. I'm ready.
Here's the deal. When we talk about water, there are actually books out there and just information on the internet. When you have a glass of water, and not just Kangen, just a glass of water out of your faucet, and you scream at it, if you're looking at it under a microscope, or sometimes you can even tell when you hold it up to just a big intense light, when you see the molecules of the water and you scream at it, everything gets jagged and awful. If you sing, well, not in my case, but let's say you play music or somebody's nice voice or something like that, all the water bubbles are just, the little molecules are fabulous and just floating around like they're supposed to be. I have heard that when you scream at a plant, or if there is not happiness within a household or wherever the plants would be, they don't do well. And people talk to their plants, and the next thing you know, everything's going well. Now, I don't know if that's the oxygen that they exude when they speak, that helps the plant, or if it literally is the actual environment and atmosphere that allows the growth to be so fantastic. But I was just thinking about that when you were mentioning it. We put the words out there, and then what happens? We hear it, just like when you were mentioning about ladies that have low self-esteem type of issues or challenges. I'm not good enough. I can't this, I can't that. All of a sudden your brain and your heart and your mind hears that and goes, well, you're right. You can't.
Right. Well, and to bounce off of that, I had seen a study with the water, and they were showing, like you were saying, pictures, and they were studying water molecules with music. And your hard rock, acid rock. I'm trying to think of what else is out there. Hip hop stuff, some of it. Those molecules were jagged, and there was not a lot of structure to the molecule. It was kind of breaking apart. The ones with the classical music, actually, and more upbeat classical music, the molecules looked like a snowflake. If you look at, we've seen zeroed in that just the intricacy and the beauty of a snowflake. That's what the water molecules look like. So, yes. And and I was going to also segue with the plants. When I started my naturopathy schooling, I had to read one book that I thought was cray-cray, because I'm like, what? I wasn't there yet. Now I'm like, huh. It was talking about plant communication. And I'm like, okay. And they were talking about people talking to their plants. They were talking about plants communicating with each other, whether out in the forest or even just in a garden. There's a transfer of energy from us, and also carbon dioxide that's coming out of our mouth. They're sending out oxygen. There's all of these different things going on. But yeah, the book talked about it, and it was incredible, the studies that they did and what they discovered. It's like they're listening, the plants. I mean, it sounds crazy, but like you said, if the household is got good spirits and is happy and positive, the plants are doing well. If there's negativity and chaos and just darkness, they don't do well. And that's been proven. And this has been proven since the 1920s. So it's been around a while.
Absolutely. And I do think positivity and happiness, just like I said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I have something, and just like Delinda and Lisa were actually speaking in feedback. And so could you please give me some feedback? Well, instantly people say, your hair's too long, your hair's too short, your makeup's not right, your glasses are crooked.
Then they get insulted.
Right. Yeah. But instantly, as soon as people think feedback, they instantly think critique. And that's not always the deal. You could add more something to your this, or if you hand that out before the meeting instead of after, just little feedback like that. It's not critique. It's just perhaps a different way to do things. And that's why I say things like, I'd love to have your opinion on, or what do you think about? It's how you phrase it that matters. Could you please critique every single thing I do? Oh my gosh. First of all, the person who you're asking that of, who has that kind of time? And secondly, who needs that kind of constant berating? Because we would take it personally, perfectly well. All of the things that would come up, especially as ladies, we would instantly be going, oh no, I'm not good enough to this or something else. And they would quit. And so when Lisa and Delinda were talking about that on Delinda's show, it's back to that same drill. It's interpretation. And sometimes we assume that those things are not a good idea. And that's why just absolutely everything is energy. Absolutely. Exactly. So true. It's positivity that we put out there, and people want to be around you. Are you a magnet or a repellent? And I really think that totally matters, which is once again why we're doing the happiness and positivity workshop. I think it's going to be a blast, and people from everywhere can come. It has nothing to do specifically, HMP is hosting it, but it has nothing to do with going to a meeting or fixing this or doing that. It's literally going to be coaches from the outside world. So if you know any coaches, those of you who are listening with us live or on the replay, if you know any coaches that would be a good fit for happiness and positivity workshops, these will again be on the first Thursday of every month at noon Pacific time. And we're going to literally have a series of coaches. If 2 or 3 show up, they'll each get about 15-ish minutes. If one shows up, they can have the whole time for Q&A. However they want to do that is 1,000,000% up to them from a standpoint of how can I be more positive? What kind of thing am I exuding? When you say something, just like even on a Zoom call, we're actually going to do a blooper video also, what not to do. And so it's going to be, we've got a lot of interesting things coming up in the next few weeks.
That's very cool. And of course, I'm going to go back to talking about critique.
Yep.
And I'm talking school again. I'm sorry. It must be School Monday. My first degree is in graphic design, and I will never forget. I was in it was like a 300 level course, and we were doing screen printing. And there was a gentleman a gentleman that was in my class that was just phenomenal. I mean, his work was just, and I sat there like I worked my heart out on the screen print, and what the teacher would do. There were 8 of us, and we would go through our stuff, and he'd open it up for critique. And the one thing I always remember that he would do, when he would pull a positive, he would never, I was comparing myself to this guy that was just, I mean, his talent was just incredible, going, well, mine looks like a kindergarten, that kind of thing. But the example of the teacher, he always had a positive thing to say for everybody's work, regardless, because, we're all at different levels. And like you said, when you ask somebody, what do you think? Or can you give me an opinion? Or why do we react if it's not what we, maybe the question to that person should be, tell me something good about what I'm, tell me something good about my makeup, or tell me something good about my clothes. Maybe that's the way to do it. So you're not disappointed if they don't tell you what you want to hear.
The rest of the story is you can say, what was your greatest takeaway on that event? That's all you have to say. What was your greatest takeaway? Well, the whole thing was miserable. Oh my gosh. Well, no offense. That probably is more of a reflection on you and where you are than whatever was going on with the speaker. So what was your greatest takeaway? And I think a lot of times it has to do with phraseology. Karen said that her mama also said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, which I always thought was interesting, because those of us who tend to be silent, my mom, of course. Oh, absolutely. My mom knew instantly, Catherine. Oh, yeah.
I usually do this. So you know what I'm thinking. So now you don't know what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? I agree with that so much. And it really is so true. But it's so fun to think of positivity and happiness, because that's why I love Mondays, Doc.
Uh-huh. No, I'm just teasing. No, I've been outside. I'm all watered. I pulled some weeds. I pulled some potatoes. I'm ready to go.
Good for you. And I know on Mondays before, even when that was the only day of the week that was even a smidge possible for Doc and Queenie, when we started the Facebook Live, as soon as that whole piece happened, you were like, Monday, really? And so I thought, this isn't going to fly, but it worked out great. So I'm so glad it did.
You're always that happy.
Yeah. Yes, I am. So before we get started with our word, guess what I have today?
I have no idea. It's not your birthday. Is it your half birthday? No.
Actually, yes. It was my half birthday a couple weeks ago, and Jill Branson in Nevada actually sent me a treat, and that was fun. She always remembers my half birthday, and she's just such a cutie. And she's Jill Branson, and she's so fun. Anyway, that's not the deal. 7 more sleeps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 more sleeps. Sorry, is our posting party. Is that exciting? For Doc?
Yes. I'm thinking weeks. I'm like, it's not 8 weeks out. It's like,
no, 8 more sleeps.
It's 1 week and 1 day.
That's right. That's exactly right. So you get to go night 8 more times. And then after that, several more sleeps. 1, to 3 weeks from today is actually the 3rd annual. Hey, I don't know if this is a national holiday yet. We better get our emails to our federal
Do we have to pay for it?
politicians. Yes, wouldn't that be the truth? Yeah. 3 weeks from today is our 3rd annual Doc and Queenie Day. So I'm super excited about that. But remember when we first started talking about this, we literally did April, May. Oh, guess what's coming up? And here we are, my friends.
Well, my daughter is in the education field, and they start August 11th. That's
I believe that. Yeah, I believe it.
Away.
A lot of schools in the Kansas City area, absolutely. It's just absolutely flown every time we think of that. But Doc and Queenie posting party and then 3rd annual Doc and Queenie Day. It's exciting.
3 years. That's crazy.
I know.
It's the day before yesterday.
I know.
Well, yes. Okay. And it's funny, of course, always the difference is you're counting sleeps and I'm doing days.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to wake up in the morning. So hurry up and sleep. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So cool. Well, I did a post this morning, and that's where I did these 7. It's 1 week and 1 day. I thought about it, and then I'm like, is it next Monday? No, it's the 25th. Is that Monday? So yeah, that's exciting. It'll be fun.
I'm doing good to know what day it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So here we go. It's going to be interesting.
Are we doing words first or what?
Let's do the other first.
All right.
I'm hoping it lands on YouTube.
Yeah. All right. So that means you want social media this time or topics?
Let's do social media.
All right. So, por favor. I told the girls the other night, wouldn't it be nice if I had
just a few wheels?
Yeah, just a few more wheels on here. Okay, there we go. Social media platforms. Doc, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, social media platforms. Shuffle 7 times. Here we go. You're hoping it hits YouTube. Let's see what that hope looks like.
Well,
gosh.
I don't do well. Okay, we could talk about Meetup. I don't do much other than confirm that I'm going to be at Doc and Queenie once a week.
Is that right? All right. All right. Well, let's remove that then, because if you don't use it much, that's not going to work. But yes, we do have a Meetup page for Doc and Queenie community. So if you haven't joined that yet, that would be super fun if you would like to.
Zoom. Cool.
Nice. All right. So obviously on this particular day for this particular platform, we are on StreamYard. And the reason for StreamYard for this is, first of all, we have a banner running at the bottom of our screen. And second of all, we're able to see your comments live. When we're on a Zoom call, we don't see your comments until later. And so that's one of the first things. But what do you love about Zoom, Doc?
I love, believe it or not, and I know a lot of people probably don't like this feature, I love recording on it. I use it a lot of times in my videos. In my YouTubes. See, I sneaked YouTube in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it gives me another layer to record. And like I had done Tuesday Tips with Dr. Laura for a while, and I did it on Zoom. I've done I did a Happy Neighborhood Project little video on Zoom. So I like it. It gives me another platform to work on. And also what I like is you can see yourself, so you don't have to redo it. I mean, it's that kind of thing. Because I hate to admit how many times I do retakes when I'm just walking outside in the garden and talking. There are some days where it takes me 20 times to say hello, and you're just like, yeah. So
okay, let me get this straight. You're on a Zoom call, and you hit the record button, and then you upload that to your YouTube channel.
I will. I take pieces of it. It downloads itself as an MP4.
Okay.
I save the MP4 and then I put it on my editor and I chop it up and then put that on my YouTube, whatever video I'm working on. So I've done that a couple of times. Not often, but it gives me an option because I use YouTube, as we all know, and I use other platforms, but this gives me a different take. If I just want to sit here, like there have been some video topics in the gardening realm that I really did not have a lot of film for. So I'll just sit in front of a picture of, a sunflower and talk about sunflower instead of walking around the garden. it gives me another option to still talk and share information. So that's what I love about it. I don't use it much past that. I know, HNP has the Zoom call. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love the breakout rooms with the Zoom stuff. How do you use it, Queenie?
Well, I love it, first of all. And there are so many things that lots of folks aren't utilizing it for yet. So just like you just this second mentioned breakout rooms. On a Zoom call, when let's say you have 5 speakers, okay, A, B, C, D, E, let's just do that for round numbers. So your 5 speakers are A, B, C, D, E. I'd love to hear from E, but I'm not really interested in D or B yet. And if I go to A and C, okay, whatever. So when people create the breakout rooms for you, you can navigate where they're going. But wouldn't it be cool if people could pick where they wanted to go?
Oh, yeah.
So on a Zoom call, the host of the meeting can create A, B, C, D, E breakout rooms.
Okay.
So whoever wants to go to E, you now open up the breakout rooms and where would you like to go? And you click join, and now you get to go to E. So you get to hear from that speaker. And
that's cool.
It's very cool. And a lot of people have not utilized that yet. Some people, one of our Arizona teams actually puts the name of the city. So we have Grand Canyon, North Fork, East Valley, They have those names for their breakout rooms. And so then people get to go into those breakout rooms, or they assign them. You can just name the breakout rooms for fun instead of breakout room number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they're named. And so the breakout room piece I do think is fun. The other thing I love is being able, you've got 49 is the max on a screen, but 49 people on a call, and you want to take a picture of all 49 of your people. Well, your co-hosts are all spread out all over the screen. You can drag and drop just with your mouse. So now you've got your leadership team at the very top of your picture. And that is another feature that a lot of people haven't started utilizing yet.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's a lot of fun. And there's so many nuances within Zoom. I use it also for my Words of Wisdom Wednesday recording and things like that. But when I do a Zoom call, there's so many features on Zoom now that so few people are utilizing, just because, hurry up, I've got a Zoom call, I've got to go right now. You don't have time to listen or train necessarily. Zoom has a heck of a tutorial platform on their own. When you go to zoom.us, you can go to the tutorial part, and it's an extensive. Back in the olden days when Zoom first started, so to speak, they would have, I thought I'd never forget his name. Ramon, I don't know, but he was so great, and he was a great trainer. And so all of a sudden in your email, you'd get a notice, Zoom class coming up. Well, heck yeah, I never missed one of those that I could handle as far as timing. But it was so, Raul, I think was his name. And so he was fantastic. And he put the Zoom screen behind him, show us how to navigate all this stuff, scoot this over, fix this. He was just spectacular. And like I say, this is probably even 6 years ago, because I was Zooming, had hook up water machines with my clients even before Zoom was cool, pre-pandemic. So when he would teach us these kind of things, it helped me so much, because I thought, that's the coolest thing ever. Look at the changes Zoom has made, Doc, just in these 3 years.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, and I have a question on, so when you're moving people around to different breakout rooms, does the system just spread everybody out, or do you actually have control over who goes in what room?
You can do it random, or you can assign it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the host can actually move around, and I've had to do that sometimes. These two folks can't be in the same breakout room because they're in the same company. And one of our calls, we actually have 100 people, and so obviously you don't have time to scoot everybody that way. So you do a random shuffle, and then I do a quick view. And if it's a little bit messy from a standpoint, those two shouldn't be together, I do another shuffle. And so once you do another shuffle, it's called recreate, then those two aren't together anymore. So now I can send everybody where they're supposed to go. But you can also manually manipulate where you want them to go. So if it's a small group with only about 40, I can do it very quickly to get those folks moved around. But now, bringing that up, Doc, there is beta testing right now to keep Zoom from duplicating. So I've got 50 people in a room, 49 people on a screen, and that means I'm going to have 48 folks that are actually going to do speed networking. Okay. So that means I've got 24 breakout rooms. All right. And so I've got 48 people that are going to be involved in speed networking, because I'm the 49th. And so I shuffle, And Zoom is coming up in beta testing, how to have that not duplicate.
Well, and it's funny that you point that out, because my thought was, and I was going to just say it, I've been in some networking groups where I wind up in the room with the same person.
Absolutely.
And the nice thing is there's a button that you can push that, you can leave the room. But, that's good to hear that they're testing that there isn't going to be duplicates.
Some of the platforms, some of the apps already have that feature, but Zoom doesn't yet. And I talked to the lady who runs our Zoom classes for Happy Neighborhood Project, and she said, yes, it's in beta testing for no duplication. And I am super excited about that, because all the speed networking groups I run, all of a sudden they go, excuse me, we've been together 3 times. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so if it's a small group, I can write it down and kind of see where everybody's going and scoot them around. But if it's a large group, no offense, you don't have that kind of time. And they would rather do speed networking, bam, 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 let's go, instead of wait for you to absolutely manually move absolutely everyone. So, and plus on those small groups, you don't want to have a go see Susie, go see Billy, go see Joey, because what if everybody wants to go see Susie, Billy, and Joey are separate? And so that really does make a big difference. So I hope that the no duplication thing happens very soon. Zoom, are you listening? And because that would be very cool to have it in beta.
StreamYard's not going to let you do that.
Yeah, I know. Exactly right. Yeah. In fact, I'm surprised they haven't closed this down already.
So that's very cool. So now we've got our word of the day, if we want to do that, or do we want to just talk about social media and what's going on?
We could actually go do the word, since we've got such super cool, faithful friends here. All right. Social media. Okay. You wouldn't believe how many things are open just on this one silly call. I mean, as far as the wheel. Okay, this is wheelofnames.com, by the way, for any of you watching. It is a fantastic platform. You can navigate, as you can see, different colors, different color schemes, and certainly you can have your logo in the center, which is super fun as well. So you can do topics, you can do numbers, pick a number between 1 and 7. I know what you're going to pick. And so now you've got a wheel, and whoever gets their number called, they're the ones that get to speak. There's all kinds of ways to get to do this. Which one is it going to be?
Focus.
There you go. It is all about you, Doc. What is focus for you?
Thanks. Sometimes I have trouble focusing because I love what I do, and I sidetrack myself, and I'm totally aware that I'm sidetracking myself. So there are sometimes I occasionally will write out what I need to do. As far as, keeping myself focused. As far as if I'm, one big thing when I'm doing video and video editing, I need a lot of focus for that. It takes time. There's lots of parts and pieces, to put something together.
You write everything down?
No, I don't. Not with the videos.
Okay.
No. No, but it takes quite a bit of time to stay focused because there's so many pieces. I wish I could just, shoot and be done and have a video, but it doesn't work that way, because I like to, share as much information about a topic as possible. So focus for me, it's that kind of thing. Out in the business world, I've noticed, some people, their focus just kind of goes off to the side. I've met with some business owners that first, even their 1 minute pitch or whatever you want to call it, I had no idea what they were selling, because their focus was all over the place. Their focus was all over the place.
Now that is a great point. You had no idea what they were selling.
I've had that happen a couple of times. Like,
seriously.
Yeah. That's one. And then another piece with the word focus. Do we focus on building our network? And network means building our relationships with other business owners, or just in general people. Or are we doing the swooping like we like to talk about, and you're looking at people as a I'm going to sell to Susie because she's going to give me my $1.95 for the month. I need to hit my goal of $1.95. And that's where your focus is. And then you wonder why Susie's not going to come back to you, because the first, hi, who are you? Would you like to buy? Yeah. So those are a few takes on focus. How about you, Queenie?
Well, that's why I was looking up actually for synonyms and things like that. And they've got fixate, which I find interesting. And then it also says obsess.
Ooh.
And so that's interesting to me because when I'm focused on something, I don't think I'm obsessing on it. I think I am tunnel visioned on going to that particular piece. They also said that there's 4 types of focus: broad focus, external, internal, observing the ball in motion, and narrow focus, pre-shot routine or targeting, as well as contemplating or adjustments. So there's so many facets of focus that I think that's a super cool word. So you have trouble focusing. How are you going to streamline that and tunnel vision it so that you can get your goal accomplished? And if you write down what you want to get accomplished for a day, maybe that would help with the focus. I don't know. But the focus is a big word. How do I start focusing? 15 ways to improve your concentration. And so one of the first things on here is reduce multitasking. Doc, with all the plates that you have spinning, I cannot even fathom what that would look like if you weren't having a lot of navigation going on for different pieces at the same time. I don't know how you do that.
I don't either. Because my life has always been that way. Because I'm a personality, so I go. Yeah, if I didn't have all the plates spinning, I'd probably take a nap. And to me, taking a nap wastes time. And who has time to take a nap?
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that sound like Nirvana? Yeah. And speaking of nap time for me. Oh gosh.
You've got quite a bit of plates spinning.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes
your schedule is insane. No offense, but you're back to back.
In a good way though. I do love what I do.
Yeah. I mean, and that I think for both of us is commonality. We love what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're into it, as I say, fishing reference, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. It was nice how you got that in there, and
I snuck that in there.
That's
but
good.
If you love what you're doing, A, it's not work. B, we both are lifelong learners. We always learn. We always admit that we're not, we have experience. I don't know if that makes us the experts, but we've got experience that we share with people. And, when people say they're expert, of course, it's in my kitchen garden expert, but I'm always learning. I always learn. I never am like, well, I know everything about tomatoes. No, there's always something new to learn. And then I always have something happen in the garden. I had several things happen this year that I've never had happen before. So now it's burned into my brain like, oh, this is how you take care of that. Yeah. With like what you would say with whatever you've come across with working with people talking about water.
Yeah. Some of my things that I love, water's all the same. And I instead of jump down their throats, so to speak, I always say, tell me about that. And then they say things about multi-level marketing companies. And I say, well, it sounds like you had a not so good experience. Oh my gosh, it doesn't work at this and that something. And I'm always like, tell me about that. Because for them, perhaps it hasn't worked yet, or they didn't have the training or whatever that looks like, because companies that are multi-level marketing, direct sales, commission only, whatever your company is called, they wouldn't still be around if it didn't work.
Right.
And so that is people's experience tends to color how they're going to promote or not promote an event or a company or a topic. So focus is just a very cool word.
Yes. So before we go here, Queenie, let's focus on, do you have any last words or anything you want to share before we go?
I really think we have hit so many points today. This was a great, great, great Doc and Queenie Facebook Live. And I really do mean that. It's been, for me, phenomenal to think that it's already 3 years, and to celebrate 4 years ago that we met is just the coolest thing ever. And my friends on the call and on the recording, it all takes us back to networking. I would never have met any of my current friend base, career base, connection base if it was not for networking. And I am forever grateful. What about you, Doc? What's your ask?
I'm still pushing the YouTube, but I'm going to push it in a different way because I learned that my focus is there, but my ask needs to be slightly different. I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube, and I was listening to basically a kid that had 1 million views on his YouTube channel in 1 month, and you're like,
oh my gosh,
wow. And one thing so far that he talked about was it's great to have people viewing your YouTubes, but it's even better that they share it, that the algorithms pick up the sharing your YouTubes. If anybody's doing YouTubes out there, it's the share piece that's important. Of course, viewership is important, but the sharing is as important or even more important is what I'm catching from him.
How cool. Now that's a great tip.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. So it's been a fantastic week and a half on YouTube. I'm up 20 new subscribers. I'm up to, where did I hit? I love looking at the numbers. I'm at 27,800,000 views. That's up like 2,200 since last week, I do believe. 20. They don't give you that since they don't go week to week, every month.
Yeah.
Which I have to pull up my elementary math, which, okay, whatever. But yeah, so my ask is still, I'm still trying to feed the engine of YouTube and, share it or, view it. Give me a thumbs up, give me likes, all of that stuff. Make a comment. It's open for comments. I've opened up my YouTubes for comments. And there have been a few, I had one person say ew. I was looking at I did the caterpillars and they did an ew, those are destructive. And I'm like, well, I think it's cool, so, but you're always going to get somebody out there that'll make a comment like that. So,
positivity and happiness.
Yeah. Focus. Yeah. So anyways, well, it looks like we are out of time. Thank you everyone who's on our call right now, or if you caught us on a replay. We so appreciate our faithful friends on purpose, and we are excited. 8 more sleeps, or 1 week and 1 week and 1 day till our posting party, which is July 25th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time with Doc and Queenie. You're going to learn a ton, and it's my experience with your posting parties, Queenie, is it's fun to watch the network literally in front of you expand. It's just incredible. So please, if you can join us, it'll be fun. And then we can all watch the ball roll with the networking reach. If you would like to reach out to Queenie, KathyWeaverKC.com is her website, or Kathy Weaver KC all over social media. Reach out to Doc at KitchenGardenExpert.com or Kitchen Garden Expert all over social media. So until next time, everybody have a fantastic week. Enjoy the summer weather. We hope you're all safe and enjoy the sunshine and hopefully not too much rain. I know the East Coast is getting slammed. So take care, and we will catch you right back here next Monday at
high noon.
I didn't get that in today, so we had to get that in. So take care. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Queenie.
Thank you, Doc. Bye for now.
Goodbye, everyone.